day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another hungover react and the slop content for your enjoyment. Once again, as a disclaimer, I'm hungover, so this react Andy is going to be very, very boring and very, very bland, but we have videos to watch and to enjoy together. Anyway, we have an amazing video to watch from Seth because he heard that I was hungover. Yeah, I used this joke in the last video, I don't care. Seth heard that I was hungover and thought it was the perfect time to release a video because they felt sorry for me. So thanks, Seth!
Lactation Nation, Seth.
Wait, what is this? Quasimorph. I've never heard of this game. And the fact that this is the first frame of this video, I'm thinking that this is gonna if this is the way it's starting, I can always already see. Is this a porn game? Has Seth become a porn YouTuber? Because that feels like the way it's going.
Hey, Lactation Nation, Seth here. In the not-so-distant future, man no longer fears the tyranny of a state, as sovereign nations have been abolished. For we found the best form of government.
My government.
Anarcho-capitalism. Whenever anarcho-capitalism
is
mentioned to me in conversation, it's usually followed by repealing the age of consent. But in this case, it simply means everything and everyone in this entire solar system.
Okay, I need to always remind myself when the Seth video comes out that there is going to be some unhinged shit. And it always gives me whiplash with some of the stuff that comes out of this man's mouth.
System is corporate property. Quasimorph is an early access roguelike where you take the role of Magnum PMC.
That kind of looks like something out of
contractor with flexible morality that does work for the highest bidder. The twist is,
the style of this looks
the
so
world
cool.
is over. Judgment Day is
I love
here,
these like
and we're all going.
Oh, what is it? This looks like what was that game that was very it had like this very retro looking 2D style. It had like a waifu in it that everyone loved because they were like wearing black spandex or something. But I love this like retro aesthetic, like the whole like PlayStation like low pixel, low fidelity style of things, like retro style. Or Signalis, yes, Signalis, that was what it is. I love that kind of aesthetic. It's funny how like a limitation of graphical fidelity in the olden days, which was only there because of the limit of technology, is now a literal aesthetical style that's used for actual games in this day and age. I love that. It's a vibe in of itself.
Going to die, and we've chosen to profit from the chaos. But first, a word from our sponsor, because I gotta get that bread. Whoops, sorry guys, my PC crashed. Again,
no!
I had a single Chrome tab open, so my computer...
Well, there's your problem. You should have been using Opera GX.
Oh, fire, burned
By the
out.
way, Opera GX, if you want to sponsor me at any given time, I prodigiously use your browser. Please pay me money to advertise your product.
My house and killed my wife's son. Thankfully, today's video is sponsored by Opera GX.
I think I'm a psychic. Can somebody pick up that phone? Because I think I called it. Also, maybe like, I don't know, sponsor me instead of Seth, please. At least I won't shout out racial obscenities.
It's no small secret that modern web browsers are massive resource hogs. They always say, just upgrade your rig, bro. But you know what? No. I'm using Opera's GX control feature to limit how much CPU and RAM the browser can use, so I can game uninterrupted no matter how many memory leaks Elon adds to Twitter.
Chrome.
Opera GX is
Thing is,
extremely moddable. Check out this one that I made. I've heard your cries,
the fact that you can mod your browser with this. Truly, this browser was made by people who understood memes. Get it? I mean, okay, real question. Does anybody unironically use Internet Explorer in this day and age? Other than to download Chrome or Opera.
More Seth. We want more Seth. Now you've got me with every single keystroke. I'll be there stroking right alongside you. Oh, you don't like that? You just want a themed wallpaper? Opera GX once again has you covered. You can fully customize which features come from which mods. And with a plethora of excellent mods on the store page, your browser can be whatever you want it to be. Check this out. By tweaking the music, keyboard sounds, tab sounds, theme, wallpaper, and custom shader, I've created the ultimate web browsing experience.
You motherfucker!
Now,
that wasn't even a Seth thing.
This browser sounds pretty cool and all, but switching browsers is such a pain. Worry not. Opera GX has an import tool to quickly download all your settings.
This is serving as very, very poignant research for me for how I'm going to do my inevitable Opera GX sponsorship. Thank you, Seth, for helping me learn and doing the work for me, for I shall shamelessly pilfer your content and make it my own.
History, bookmarks, and passwords in just one click. Use my link to download Opera GX today and say goodbye to all those
Every time
pesky,
that pipe noise
boring
happens, I just
other
grimace.
browsers. To answer the question, what is a quasimorph? Sometimes the most accurate answer is the schizophrenic one. The setting of quasimorph stems from the esoteric metamythos of Daniil Andreev in his book Rose of a World, which
I don't think a
describes
person exists if
Shadanaka,
it requires
or the
a
systems of parallel
degree
worlds
in
connected to Earth. These
Is that Drake as a femboy? There are things I thought I would see today, but a deepfaked Drake as a femboy is not what was on my list.
connected to Earth. These concentric layers are brumfaturas, the superimposition, influence, and overlap of which formulate together to create existence. At least I think so. Quasimorph is an intruder.
I don't want to have
stepping
a
in
degree
from
in
another
philosophy
reality.
and quantum
unfortunately,
physics to
the veil
understand
between
something.
worlds is weakest.
I'm just saying, I want to
between your
play video
chest
game.
cavity.
If I need a degree
Quasimorph
in
is a
anything to play
turn-based
it,
survival
you've already
extraction
lost
shooter,
me.
or in
EVE
other words,
Online.
2D Escape from Tarkov, except fun. The principle is very simple. We take out a
You all know my relationship with Escape from Tarkov. I too like playing games for fun. Escape from Tarkov.
contract and send in one of our agents. If they die, no problem. They're not really any more people than they are proprietary neuro imprints. We license their consciousness, and we bioprint as many replacements necessary for total client set.
This game feels like it needs Tim Curry going. Sorry, Tim Curry. And his beautiful line of, "I am going to go to the one place that has not been corrupted by capitalism. Space!" And then he gets there and it's like, oh wait, yeah, no, there's capitalism here too. Because that's what this is.
Satisfaction. You're free to take jobs from any of the major corporations, including the Quasimorphs. We may be locked in an existential war for humanity, but that doesn't stop me from holding stock in Sectland. Rapture is coming, but
I mean, look,
homie, I got some
if
great dividends.
VTubers are a
and you
proof
start
of
with a
anything,
favorable reputation.
profit can
After
come
all,
from
you
anything,
did help them
including
entrench into
the
this
incessant
reality.
need
You start a
for
mission by selecting an
gooning.
active contract around the planet or moon you're currently orbiting. This requires you to select a mercenary, a class, and a loadout for the mission, after which you're deployed into hostile territory. Anyone you see, anything that moves, is kill on sight.
Murder.
The entire mission
Death.
is 2 to 4 levels.
It's
if
not
you change
a
your mind
good
midway
game
and
if
call
you
the
can't
shuttle,
commit
fuel is
acts of the
expensive, so
Geneva
it's cheaper
Convention.
to let you die.
Or
the
suggestion,
only way to
sorry. The
extract is by
the
completing
Geneva
the objective,
suggestion.
which can be espionage, station defense, sabotage, elimination, or conquest. If you die anywhere in between, you lose everything. And I assure you, you're going to be dying a lot. If it's any consolation, I died during the tutorial because
Wait,
I
you
picked up
die a
knife,
lot? Does that make
selected
this the Souls-like of Escape from Tarkov games? Yo, dude, this is the Souls-like of roguelikes. I hate that this is the kind of world we live in.
amputate and clicked on my head. Each deployment, you're on a timer. The more time you spend and the more blood you spill,
The style is
higher
really,
your level of
really good. Like,
quasimorphosis.
this is also the kind of game that just does not age poorly. From an aesthetic point of view, the reason why hyper-realistic games age so poorly is because they're a representation of the graphical quality of that time. And if you're doing something hyper-realistic, as technology advances, that aesthetic is going to be dated really quickly. It's why retro games and games with very cartoony or very stylized art forms tend to age really well. It's like, I used the example of World of Warcraft, because that game's near enough 20 years old, and yet it's not really changed its graphical styling in that entire time. The more stylized it is, the less it's going to get dated, and the less it's going to really age as technology improves. Cheers, love.
Quasimorphosis measures the probability of ecolapse, where, upon death, the host explodes and a quasimorph phases in. The severity of a situation is described in the bottom right. Somnia, no events. Grasp, occasional ecolapse. Intrusion, music changes, ecolapse and aggression increase. Plenum,
really
spontaneous ecolapse.
I do like these top-down isometric kind of
The
games.
entire floor is coming. Q-morphose, music changes to its highest intensity. Every host in the map explodes.
I find
And
that these
finally,
like instance-based games are
Rapture.
so
If you want
easy to just
live,
pick up and
you'll
put down
keep
as
this
well. Like you're
number
not
as low
committed
as possible. Naturally,
to
there's
really
only a
play
few ways to
much.
do this: drinking vodka, smoking
kinda why I
Newports,
like
and
Escape from
injecting
Tarkov in that
morphine.
sense.
Each time you move, you consume calories.
sure,
At
you
higher
lose
rates,
everything,
this is
but
9 calories per step.
can feel like you
This
just put
is
up
what
and put it-
Americans
pick it up
really
and put it down as
believe.
much
And
as you
to
want.
avoid starvation, we need a steady supply of
just gotta
slop.
put up
But when the
with
food
hackers
runs
and
out, I
sweat
want you to
lords.
consider alternative sources. When I consume
Ah,
my
yes,
enemies,
cannibalism.
is it really cannibalism? For
No,
that implies
no, it's not. As
I
somebody
considered them
who is made
human
of
to begin
goo
with.
and sees humans as nothing more than
Holy-
biomass, I can
look at all
quantifiably
this
say that
damage.
that eating another human being is just it's just simple math. I need biomass. You are made of biomass. It's the pecking order.
Unfortunately, human flesh will raise your quasimorphosis. You delay one death and accelerate another. However, if you find
Listen,
a crafting
in the
bench
far
and an
universe,
empty tin,
humans
you can
are
turn
not
that
top of the
long
chain.
pig
Therefore,
into
the
gourmet
pecking order.
dinner, which will no longer cause quasimorphosis. The implication
Acolyte,
being
thank you
that
for the
it's
reset,
not
dude.
about
How you
devouring
doing,
your
buddy?
fellow man, it's about table
I miss you,
manners.
Acolyte. I hope you're
Disclaimer,
well.
they patched the canned meat. It's so over. On the other hand, they improved the crafting bench so much you have no idea. We are so
Yeah, if
back.
humans
In general,
didn't
the
want to be
crafting bench will
absorbed,
save a lot of
consumed,
your
or
early game
turned
runs.
into canned
Don't
food,
sleep on it.
why is their
Improvised
meat
toilet
so
grenades,
tasty?
clear
Why is
rooms,
their
makeshift
biomass
batteries,
so
power
absorbable?
autodocs, and floor scanners. Completing a mission
I mean,
gives
I know that's a
rewards, but more
future,
importantly,
problem,
a
but-
reputation. You can land at any corporate asset
saying.
so long as it's
Think about
friendly
it.
and exchange goods for equipment. And if you're completely broke but friendly with Techland,
Rationalizing
you can
a
even
cannibal.
exchange yourself by amputating your own limbs. This is not a joke. It's a completely valid strategy to potato peel your digits, offer them at the Fever Temple, regenerate your limbs on the ship, and do it all over again. It's
Or-
not efficient, but
Or reject skin, become goo. You don't need to regenerate limbs if you're made of goo. You just decide what limb you want. Oh, you don't want legs that day? That's fine. I too would like to be a tri-legged spider monster thing with dick nipples. Goo! Reject goo, reject skin and bones and carbon. Become goo.
we can no longer exploit blood bag synthesis. They caught on to us, boys. It was good while it lasted. Speaking of which, the Magnum can fabricate almost everything, so long as you have the proprietary item chip. These are effectively a perpetual license.
Kitty.
And
Dude, Hello Kitty hasn't been relevant for a century, and yet it's still one of the most memed franchises. Like, is there even anything Hello Kitty related being made in this day and age? I know it's still quite big in Japan, but I feel like it's a franchise that died eons ago.
incredibly valuable that finding one during a mission is a valid reason for evacuation. There's also class and mind chips, which unlock classes and mercenaries respectively. If you mouse over a chip and you see the words
It seems very
data miner,
complicated.
you've officially hit the jackpot. You can do whatever you want, but remember, your actions have
Jamie.
consequences. Supporting
Hi,
a
Data.
corporation will accelerate
Welcome
their growth
in.
and
Welcome to
technology.
my
If you
hangover
want
stream.
top shelf gear, great.
I'm
But if
tired.
you turn against them in the future, you're not
Ooh,
going to
this actually, you know, this looks very doomy, actually. Like, seeing this shot right here, this looks so like someone, editor, please insert BFG edition into this section and make it look bloody and gory. Did I do it? Because I'm my own editor, and if I didn't, I'm sorry for being lazy. I'm hungover.
them in the future, you're not going to be facing wage slaves and general managers.
Yo, is
You'll
this
be
the
facing
Doom of the
rival
Soul? Is
PMCs
this-
and their
Is this the Doom-like of the Souls-likes of the roguelikes? We live in a fucking society, I swear to God.
own special forces. So I encourage you, pick a side, any side, and stick to it. There's a lot of minor corporations, but for the sake of time, here's the big players. SBN, social media monopoly. They own Twitter, the best
social
energy
media
rifles,
monopoly?
and the lightest armor.
you sure this
RealWare,
isn't just
industrial
modern
mega
society, then?
manufacturer. Carnage Pattern is objectively the
Boy, please tell
coolest
me the
armor,
end
and
boss
they
of this game
produce
is
the
Elon
highest
Musk.
RPM
I really
ballistics.
want that to be the
Ancom,
case.
entertainment and research conglomerate. They make the most versatile armor, the best snipers, and the experimental HFC, this game's equivalent of of Doom's BFG. Test line,
Yeah.
Quasimorph's...
So now we've confirmed, this is the Doom-like of the Souls-like of the roguelikes. Oh boy, this is gonna give me a conniption, I swear. What is it again? It's called
Venus
Quasimorph.
that'll make you rage quit at least several times. Everything is
I'll link in the
Aztec,
chat
from
for
the
you.
design to the desire for human organs. And finally, the civil resistance. These are terrorists that hope to bring about
Resistance?
something even worse than Judgment Day.
There is no resisting. There is only Inky in your future. Welcome! Welcome to Inky's confines. You have chosen, or been chosen, to relocate to my biomass, and as such, you will live a nice, comfortable life, being part of my pure, defined form. I realize for people watching this on YouTube that you may not understand the context of the universe that I've said. It's roleplay! It's cringe-ass roleplay! Let me be a slime girl!
Day. A return to national sovereignty. They intentionally hive mind themselves into a cluster of consciousness known as a call node. In effect, they have achieved working communism. Anyway, you understand the
North
politics
Korea.
of our PMC. Let's return to the actual mechanics. It's very tempting to finish the tutorial and go straight to the moon. Somehow, I avoided this so I didn't get filtered by a wheelchair. Quasimorphosis is unique to each planet.
Can I just point out... Cheers, love. Can I just point out how quickly this word filter has come into play since Armored Core 6 has come out? How people are now deriving a skill check in a game as being filtered. I do not think there has been a more poignant terminology used for a skill check in a game, and I love that so much. Man, I just got filtered by this boss so hard. So what you mean is you suck? Yeah, basically.
Planet because they're subject to the influence of a different Brahmfatura. Venus, Ganix, Mercury, Shartamacum, and the Earth's moon, Duger. Mars and its moons have absentia, which means there is no quasimorphosis. So, if you're starting off, I recommend Mars. If you're learning...
These are words that exist. Quasimorphosis? The only quasi anything I know is Quasimodo, but I don't think he has anything to do with this. It's like...
Try Mercury and Venus. And if you know what you're doing, go to the moon. That doesn't mean any single location is safe, and death is around every corner. Most common cause of death? Flamethrowers.
Do you guys remember there was a game that came out back in like
an entire run,
like
gone in a
2015,
flash because some
2014?
unpaid worker
And it was like
amputated your neck with a
Alien Invasion, I think it was called. And it was a very similar like top-down kind of monster alien kind of shooter, kind of like this, but maybe a little less intricate, I guess would be the word. I don't know, I just got kind of like a reminiscence of that.
circular saw.
What's
I
that
assumed
game?
the weapon was busted, so I tried it myself, in a straight line, where it ricocheted and cut my legs clean off. When you take damage, you get injuries,
Alien Swarm,
which have
that's
to be
what it was.
treated, or they
Alien
get
Swarm.
infected. And if there's no antibiotics on hand, well, it has to go. Secondly, the most common cause of getting filtered, pain shock. If you take too much damage too quickly, you get stunned and
Oh
lose a
no,
turn.
just
Both
like
systems
Escape
are
from Tarkov.
universal. If you shoot something hard enough, they'll get stunned from the shock. If you cause injury, you can run away as they bleed to death. And if you amputate a critical organ, they might just die instantaneously. The number of action points you can take per turn is based on your move setting. At any time, you can switch between sneak, normal, and run. Sneak is one action point, but can detect the position of nearby enemies, use your inventory, and interact with nearby...
I'm gonna say this now, this would make a terrible game for me to stream. I barely have enough attention span to pay attention to a video, let alone enough of an attention span to pay attention to the mechanics of something like this that would require me to actually do math and intrinsically understand cohesive mechanics. Maybe in my own time, sure, I could get my head around this kind of thing, but oh my god, I would be completely lost if I played like something like this on stream.
Buy objects at no cost. Normal is 2 action points and run is free. However, while running, you can't open your inventory.
Like, if I'm
and
gonna
take a severe
be having
penalty
an
for your
existential
accuracy.
crisis
Peak
of how stupid I am, I'm not gonna
performance
do that
requires
live on
you abuse the
stream.
system.
I get
Opening a
enough
door,
of that as it
switch to
is.
sneak, see enemies, switch to normal, then toss a grenade before switching back and locking it on the same turn. A lot of players have a tendency to go autopilot in sneak mode and just die without explanation.
It's
What
why I
usually
would never play
happens
something
is
like
they
XCOM
turn
on
a sharp
stream.
corner, get their
But you gotta
shit
think about
blasted
move-
in,
you
but
gotta
because
think
they have a
like
single
in-
action point, they
like
go
it's
into pain shock, which
You gotta think
rolls
about
over to
moves
the
ahead
next
of what you're
turn, where
doing.
they get shot again, and repeat the process until they die. The whole
And I don't
point
trust
of
myself
running
not
is
to be
to
an
face
idiot.
check, understand your tools, and you'll find this to be a very satisfying tactical experience. I used to have complaints about this game, but after so many hours, I can tell you, if you die,
let alone a
it's
brain
a skill
cell.
issue. I have a brain parasite, and it forces me to play this game at 2x speed with cheat engine. That's a personal choice. I also use a macro to amputate every corpse. After 100 hours playtime, that's a necessity.
Optimizing cannibalism, only in a Seth video.
Classes work like a perk system.
I wonder if he's
and each
played
mercenary has an intrinsic
DayZ.
perk. This unique ability combines with your
Seeing
class
his take
of
on
choice to create
cannibalism in that
vastly
one.
different play styles. For example, Percy comes with +5 to all resistance. Outfitted with full carnage pattern, he's the only person in the game that can set himself on fire and not take damage. And after putting him in Phoenix
Pyro
Brigade, I can shoot a single round of incendiary ammunition and burn down half the map. In general, you should pick a mercenary that suits your play style. Do you want to feast up?
Yeah, okay. So what we figured from this game so far, it is the XCOM-like of the Doom-likes of the Souls-likes of the Rogue-likes. So if you like yourself that kind of game, then this will be right up your hell. God damn it. Can we just say that it's rather than saying it's something like, can we just go back to saying thematically it's like this game rather than getting like, it's got something of Doom elements to it, therefore it's a Doom-like, but it's also got elements of a Souls game, so it's a Souls-like. Not everything has to be a like, I'm just saying.
On human flesh, play Isabella because she's immune to infection. Even better, put her as Eclipse Blades and turn your cannibalism into a one-hit kill. Are you tired of getting stun-locked? Try Maximilian because he doesn't feel pain. Would you like a slower pace? Play Mirza because her caloric needs are 40% of everyone else.
Emotional damage, I don't feel it either.
Would you like to quadruple everyone's inventory to the point where every enemy contains 2 flavors of ramen and a pack of Lucky Strikes? Play Tunnel Rats and experience the greatest whiplash in difficulty, as everything that doesn't die to your shotgun gets knocked back into the void of space. I've discussed builds. Let's talk about guns, because there's a lot of them. If you want to kill enemies, you need to beat their resistance, and the type of damage you do is based on the ammunition. Flamethrowers and energy rifles.
So this is where the Escape from Tarkov like kicks in. I find like, at what point are you just like stretching to say that it's like something else? Like inspiration, sure. Like just because something did it once and it got popular for that element. Like I remember when Escape from Tarkov was like undiscovered. I was playing that game before it kicked off, and nobody said that it was like it's funny when something becomes a something like, and it's only going to be a something like when that something it was based off of is popular. Because Escape from Tarkov was around for a long time before it kicked off. It is. It's like doing the whole something like is very derivative. I find that it actually kind of devalues the thing you're basing it off of. Like, I don't like the idea of saying something is a something like, because it kind of, I don't know, defeats the purpose. Like, everything is its own thing, and there are inspirations, absolutely. But when you have so many elements of a game, like this is kind of like the quandary of inspiration and having games that are sort of similar to each other. Like we're so far into like the gaming industry these days that no matter what you make, it's like artwork or anything. No matter what art you draw, no matter what character you make, no matter what game you make, it's always going to have some inspiration from some other game. And if you really follow that tangent far enough, eventually you're gonna be like, oh, it's a Pong-like. Yeah, this game has graphics, therefore it's clearly spoofed off of Pong or some shit like that.
Organics, but have no effect on cyborgs. In contrast, the buckshot of a shotgun will cut them to pieces. Most armor stops the blunt impact of a 9mm, but a 7.97 from an assault rifle will pierce right through. Quasimorphic weapons deal cold. Even if you're fully equipped, the full burst of a serpent's mouth will send you straight back to the menu.
Yeah,
and
I think like it's better to say that, because if a game is very similar to something else, you can say it's a Doom clone or a Doom-like, sure, because it's got something that's like that gameplay. But the way people see it is that when it's kind of lost its meaning, because in what I've noticed now is that when somebody says it's a Souls-like, it's a Doom-like, they're saying that as if it's like a comparison, rather than trying to be its own thing. And then they base the entire, it's like Lords of the Fallen or Lies of P. These games came out, and obviously they were very heavily inspired by Dark Souls. Obviously, that's kind of the point. But people based the experience off of the standard that the Souls games had made. And I think Lords of the Fallen especially got a lot of flack because it was a quote-unquote Souls-like that didn't adhere to the quintessential Souls-like experience. There were a lot of differences, so people kind of judged it a lot harshly because it wasn't exactly like a From Software Souls game. And that's kind of where I think a lot of that derivative comes from, which is actually harmful when you're setting expectations based off of a game that had completely different ideologies. Anyway, gaming philosophy aside, continue on, Seth, please.
Now it's a complete menace. Also, there's turrets. They're incredibly useful for defense missions, and because an enemy ran right up to your face, shooting you in the crossfire. And finally, you might be asking yourself, what's that little icon on the bottom right? Don't worry about it. Anyways, I forgot how to structure this video, so in conclusion, I give this game a self-inflicted out of 10. It's amazing. I know it's early access, but there's a lot of content already, and you can easily sink 80 hours on just the main gameplay loop. There's an impressive
this is why it takes a month to get a video from Seth, because he spends too long playing the game he's making a video about.
I wouldn't tell. As always, more content to come next year, because I gotta see my family. Merry Christmas.
Wait,
and warm thanks to the many
There's
members
still
of the Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling
5 minutes of this video
consistently for several years. You're all?
Is it literally just, what? Oh damn. Wait, what's this? Oh my god, is that the Seth?
If you're interested, there's a 20% sale on GOG. A special thanks to the autistic Japanese man who tailored me this Mibeke suit. If you're interested in anything from a Democratic Republic of Congo military suit to a BDSM outfit, I've linked his Patreon.
Thank you, Seth. I'm already making my Battle-Maid cosplay, but I'll keep that in mind. Is this like the first time that Seth's actual full body has been in a video? Because good lord, it's nice to see what the man looks like in person. I still cannot get by that the whole meme of him using this war general as a avatar became his defining point of content. that still cracks me up. Good lord, I love Seth. These videos are great. Seth, as unhinged as he is, you always know that he's going to give you a fun video to watch, and no matter what, he's going to present you a game that you wouldn't like. You are guaranteed that with a Seth video, he will present you a game you would never have seen otherwise. And he will present it in a way that not only makes you question why you're watching it and wondering whether you should be offended for watching it, but then wondering what people are going to think about you because you watched it. Anyway, I'm hungover. I need coffee. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, please by all means stop by my Twitch sometime. I promise I'll be more energetic and hopefully less hungover when you come by. And if you're on the Twitch side of things, you guys should go watch my YouTube stuff, because we just got partnered on YouTube. Yay. I'm gonna get a coffee. Bye!